always late. I was complaining about the damn drop-off line at middle school, but we are here. Ketch and I are here, and we're about to finish up a really good conversation that we had on Monday. Training camp, spring ball begins actually on Monday. And so Ketch and we had this conversation about a worry meter, and we really were able to knock out the offense, but we were not able to get the defense done. So we are here for that. Ketch, are you ready for part two?
I think there's so much change on the offensive side of the ball. And it really feels like a lot of the injuries are stacked over there. It's receivers, it's Arch, it's offensive linemen, your best offensive lineman. I look at the defensive side of the ball, and if I'm a Texas fan, I honestly think this is a show you should really enjoy because I think there's going to be a lot of flowers about the talent. They're one of the most talented teams in the country, and it really shows itself, I think, in the young talent on the defensive side of the ball in the program. So yeah, I think this is the weekend show if you're a Texas fan. There's a little bit of concern. We'll get to a little bit of that, but by and large, this is a defense with a ton of talent and a guy in Will Muschamp, and now Mark Stoops, and you bring in Blake Gideon back, and there's a sense that like the pieces are there for the defense to be as good as the offense, and we think the offense has a chance to be really, really good.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's do it. Okay. So we did an offensive show. You guys if you guys missed it, we did our Monday overreaction show. I guess should I put Rogue up for this?
Yes, it's a double shot of Rogue. It's supposed to be, this was actually supposed to be, we did this backwards, Anwar.
What?
It's supposed to be the Monday overreaction show, just the second one. So yeah, we'll give. Hold
on. Boom. Yes. Wait, is that it? No.
There it is.
There it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Richard.
Yes, Richard. Tell everybody about the good products at Rogue, and let's get into it.
Well, I have been partaking in Rogue products this morning, and whatever performance you get from me for the next 40 minutes or so will be enhanced by the good products. Sleep, recklessness. Oh, wait, did I say recklessness? I meant sleeplessness, anxiety, pain, all there, different things for different people. The bottom line is it's a product that will make your day better. And if you use that promo code OrangeBloods, you'll get a discount. And what's not to like about that? I know Richard's watching the show right now somewhere, right? He's either watching it live, watching it taped. He's like, oh, a double shot of Rogue. Yes, Richard. Exactly. Let's start with the defensive tackles.
Yeah.
My worry meter's at a 1. Yours is at a 3. And yeah. I think your 3 is too high.
Really?
I think this is the best defensive tackle group in America. I think they are bringing in a 5-star in James Johnson, and he's probably 6th on the depth in the totem pole at the defensive tackle position at best coming into the spring. This has been a position where they've really struggled the last couple of years because of terrible recruiting. But they've been picking it up. And so you come back, you've got Hero Kanu, Alex January, Murad Watson, all guys from your rotation a year ago, bringing back. Kanu's a guy that everybody thinks is an NFL player. They were actually worried he might go pro early. January continues to grow. He's getting ready to go into year 3. Same with Murad Watson. Both of these guys have played a lot of football now. They add Ian Gefford, right, in the portal. So they've got a big starting level nose tackle. That's 4 guys. Now, the guy that's making more money than all of those guys combined, Justice Terry, that makes 5. So now you're at 5. And oh, by the way, Will Muschamp's defense is a little different. It is they'll play a guy like Justice Terry. They'll play more 3-line fronts. They'll do some different looks that will, I think, take advantage of the versatility of this line. James Johnson, 5-star, and all of these guys are healthy that I'm aware of, except for Justice Terry, who you reminded us last night in the war room. By the way, you put that note second, and I was like, that is not the second note in the war room. Over my dead body. I don't know if you noticed, I rearranged the parts on that a little bit. Didn't change a single word. I just flip-flopped.
I was trying to preserve my mod ranking here, Catch. I was trying to preserve my mod. I was like, maybe they won't read down everything.
So then you've got Myron Charles, Zion Williams, who they just brought in from the portal from LSU and who they think has a chance to be really good. Josiah Sharma. I mean, if you get all the way to those guys, you're talking about 10 guys. This is a position next year we're going to see some changeover. But this year it is loaded with guys that I think are NFL players. Almost all of them will be available in the spring. They've got a guy like Trevor Atkinson at running back, or at linebacker, Tyler Atkinson. I keep thinking he's a member of the Von Erich family. He's going to come in, and the expectations are, man, he might have to be on the first team or competing for those reps because of the turnover and the injuries and everything else. James Johnson, man, they're paying a lot of money to. They did not get him for free. They viewed him as a 5-star defensive tackle. They wanted to have one. His ranking didn't finish that high, but I think his money did. And I don't know how he gets on the field in year one. And that is a completely different proposition to the last couple of years where we've been like, yeah, they got a transfer coming in from, checks his notes. Oh, 2 transfers coming in from Arizona. And who is this? Like, they have been robbing Peter to pay Paul, and they've been doing all of this stuff just to get by. And now they have this thing where it needs to be. And I don't know what I'm worried about.
Well, I guess my question to you would be, of the guys you've mentioned, because I'm at a point right now, Catch. When I hear about a freshman player in any position, I shoulder shrug it. So you know how good you have to be for Sark to play you as a freshman. Like you've got to be lightning in a bottle. I mean, Cade Phillips or the Grayson Littletons, that's it.
But we would have a year ago or even 2 years ago, of like James Johnson comes in as a true freshman, and he might be starting day one, and it's like
correct.
That's what they did with Cole Hudson and DJ Campbell and Kelvin Banks.
Yeah,
and Banks pays them off on it, but they may not have they could have played for a Southwest Conference, a Big 12 championship in 2022 had they not been running 40% of their offensive line being true freshmen. Like we're way beyond that. And
we're way beyond. So like I was on a show, like somebody's show this week, and they're like, okay, and they asked me this generic, like, which freshmen are going to have an impact this season? I'm like, probably none of them. Like, you don't follow Texas. Like we Lance, I don't care whether you're a 5-star or not. Justice Terry, Lance Jackson, we had the freshman receivers. We thought, oh, well, one of those guys are going to play. And we didn't see none of those guys, right?
The thing is, like on the defensive side of the ball, I think that so they get Grayson Littleton, who probably performed like a 5-star. If he'd been a 5-star and then started 8 games as a true freshman, including Ohio State, we would have been like, that guy's a future first-round draft pick. I think he punished by his ranking a little bit in terms of perception. But Lance Jackson, plays a lot, but wasn't great. I think you're right. It's hard to be Kelvin Banks, man. It is hard as an 18-year-old kid to just show up in a sport that we know right now is being dominated by grown men.
Yes.
Grown-ass
men. 23-year-olds.
Indiana's like, oh, I see that cute little 5-star teenager you've got. Let me introduce you to my 23-year-old grown-ass man, been voting since he was 18. He's voted in 2 presidential elections. Let me introduce you to him. He's got a firm handshake. He'll look you in the eye. It's just a different deal. And it's hard. You don't on one side of your mouth say Texas is one of the most talented programs in the country. And then on the other side of your mouth, tell some kid, and you can come in and start right away. It's harder to do that at Texas now than it was 4 years ago when Sark didn't yet have the program on a level where the talent level is even with Georgia and even with Ohio State and even with Oregon. 4 years ago, they were really, really behind, and the other schools have come back to the pack, and Texas has climbed up to the top, and here we are. What's the most worrisome thing about defensive tackle? Just that they don't have a star.
The worrisome thing is, Catch, I don't really know how many all-conference players are on this roster.
Now that's fair.
That's where I put mine at a 3. I would say today I can probably say Hero Kanu. That's an all-conference guy. I can see him being a preseason all-conference guy, and I can see him finishing as an all-conference guy. When I go through the list of everybody else, I can't say for certainty I know who else is an all-conference player. I can guess it, but I don't know it. And that's what it puts it at a 3. I feel like there's promise, but I just don't know. Once I get past Hero, if I said to you, that's my determining factor at this moment for that conversation. Who's all-conference guy? I shoulder shrug. I'm like, I'm not quite sure.
Here's what I would say. I'll channel my inner Samuel L. Jackson from Pulp Fiction as Jules. Allow me to retort.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Actually, at that point, we could just do the entire show where every response has to be a different quote from Jules.
Yeah.
Let me tell you my favorite Bible verse. I totally agree with you. And I don't even know that I think of Hero Kanu as he might. I don't know. I don't know the South. I don't know the SEC's defensive tackle roster.
Why are you on Southwest Conference this morning?
I don't know, man. I've been on road products.
Yeah, well.
And I've been dealing with a lot of 80-year-old customers in the last 2 days. I literally had a conversation yesterday with somebody about the Southwest Conference. So maybe that's it. But I think Kanu, January, Watson, and Gefford are all NFL players.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're first-round picks. I don't know where any of these guys finish beyond that, though. They're good players who have not, as you, I think, correctly point out, they haven't reached the next stratosphere. They've not. Otherwise, Hero Kanu would have gone had he done that, right? If Hero Kanu was all SEC on any level a year ago, I think that dude goes to the pros. He just wasn't. So all of these guys are getting ready to make the next step. But I think if they all turn pro in January, I think all 4 of those guys get drafted. And I don't know, even in the SEC, I don't know who goes into the season right now with their top 4 guys. They're all NFL guys, no doubt about it. I don't know where they're all going to get drafted. And who knows, some of these guys may end up being bottom of the draft, day 3 guys. But even that, I've just covered a lot of Texas football teams that are scrambling to get a guy or 2 guys. And I think they've got 4 guys that are absolute pros for me. And then you bring in the Justice Terry, and he's the wild card. And I know he won't be available maybe at all this spring, but he was coming on towards the end of the year. I almost think the Will Muschamp hire, there's no player in the program that will benefit more because his body type. He's a little bit of a tweener and a bit of a traditional 4-man front, but, you know, Muschamp's the guy that gave us a guy like Sam Acho or Lamar Houston. He would take guys that were edge players and spin them down to tackle. He wants big, athletic, big bodies. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't necessarily care about the conventional way of they've got to be a 2 technique or a 3 technique or a 4 technique, and that's all I'm going to do. I think we're going to see a lot of Justice Terry. And if they weren't, I think they'd have told Justice Terry to go into the portal. I think they'd have been like, you're expensive. And we've got 4 guys that we don't even know if you're going to play over. So if you want to keep any of your earning viability into year 3, maybe you need to go into the portal, right? It's a whole cut your losses if you can. If they thought we're so good that guy can't get on the field, I don't know that Justice Terry comes back this year. But I've never heard even a millisecond they think that guy's going to be a superstar when it's all said and done. Even though they didn't get a big first-year impact out of him, they still view him. Even this week I was talking to somebody who was like, not an investment into him as a bad investment. They did open up the idea that the year 1 return wasn't great, and it might be a possibility that they won't get a return on that, but they still think they will. So I'm at a 1 on defensive tackle, but I will concede 3's fair if you're like, man, I can't give anybody a 1 that doesn't have an All-American on it, which is a conversation we're about to have at Edge.
Yeah, which is interesting because we are of all the things that we have been different on, we are at opposite ends on the edge position. I'm at a 1 where I'm like, yo, I'm good, and you're at a 5 on the scale. So let's start with you on that one, Catch, because I'm like,
well, understand what is a 5. A 5 is a medium level amount of concern. I'm not super concerned,
yes,
but I'm also not not concerned.
yes, yes. So, okay, so we're talking Colin Simmons. You know, I guess you probably put Spence in that. You know, Azina, Lance Jackson. Terry does pop out at the edge position as well. And I might be giving the whole just I'm all in on Colin Simmons, and that's why I'm like I'm cool. But if your thing is yeah, and who else? Then at that point I would concede and say, well, you know, I'm putting a lot on Colin Simmons, and I ain't really thinking about these other people. But if you're like, yeah, but Anwar, who else do you got? If you said like, hey, go back to your argument of who else is an all conference player, then I would concede that my 1 should probably be higher if that's where you're going.
I love the talent. So it's not a talent issue. Like I'm literally Lance Jackson's biggest advocate. I called that kid a 5-star on the day he committed. Ain't nobody else anywhere doing that. So like I'm 10 toes in with Lance Jackson. He's my guy. I was an initial stock purchaser of Lance Jackson. You know, that whole group, I have a lot of respect for Brad Spence. Zena, you know, behind the scenes, they think Zena's going to play on Sundays, which is one of the real interesting things about we can quibble Sark about who was in the portal and who wasn't going to go into the portal. And I don't really want to play word games with Sark, but Zena was leaving. And then Zena decided not to leave. I don't really want to quibble over the matter. What I do want to say is he's got a lot of upside. They didn't want him to leave because they think he has a lot of upside. Smith Orogbo is a borderline 5-star guy we didn't see a year. So they got a ton of young guys. They got a generational player in Colin Simmons. So why the medium level of concern? Mm-hmm. Because outside of Colin Simmons, they don't have a guy who's a good player yet. They got a bunch of guys that have just been average. Like I went back and I was like, I did an article I'm going to pull it up actually on Orange Bloods because I want to read the numbers out. Mm-hmm. I did a deal where it was like, I don't know that Colin Simmons might be the most important guy on the entire program. And I laid it out because when you look at if we just look at stats, last year he had 59 sacks, hits, and hurries combined. Mm-hmm. Sacks, hits, hurries combined. Simmons had 59. Spence had 19. Jackson had 14. Zena had 13. Colton Vasek had 4. And that's it. Like if Simmons were out with a hangnail, that position is toothless based on the way they played a year ago. If you look at total sacks, Simmons had 10 last year. Spence had 4. Jackson had 2. Zena had 2. If you look at hits, Simmons had 14. Spence had 3. Jackson had 3. Zena had 1. Hurries. Simmons had 35. Spence had 12. Jackson had 12. Zena had 10. Obviously, one guy's a generational player. Mm-hmm. Let me read you their PFF grades because 60 is serviceable. 70 is good. 80 is like really, really good. Colin Simmons, 84.3 grade. Zena's the next highest rated guy on the PFF grades, which cockamamie, all that stuff. But it's also not subjective. It's AI grading players, and we can quibble about how well they do it. But it is not subjective. It is, they spit out numbers and the data can be wrong, but it's not slanted in a subjective manner. Zena's the next highest at 66.8. Brad Spence was 65.3. Lance Jackson was 57.6. These guys just didn't do enough last year that they could be in the conversation of a Hero Canoe where you're like, I don't even know if he's all conference, but maybe we should at least have that conversation about him with the other guys in that capacity. We don't do that. Colin Simmons is in like the platinum club. He gets to skip the line in New York City and go right on in.
Yeah.
These other dudes are like waiting 45 minutes in line because they have not proven that they're better. They look pretty and they're dressed nice, and they might one day get to cut in front of the line, but they haven't played well enough yet that we can talk about them that way. So I'm just at a medium. I just need some of these guys step up.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Let me just ask you this, and again, it might be subjective, right? Will Muschamp in the room, does that change anything for you? And I know that the other part of them unproven, right? But does Muschamp's potential impact tell you like? And again, it's medium. You're not at an 8 or anything crazy, so it doesn't do anything for you as far as the unproven in the room. This is what it. Okay, I'm just asking. Okay, again, it's a 5. It's not an 8 where we have to like debate.
I'm just saying I will be keeping my eye on that position. I ain't really paying attention to the defensive tackles, other than I would want to see how the young guys are doing. I don't need to know about how Hero Canoe and Alex January. You can tell me a little bit about the new kid, the transfer from Arkansas, but I know what these dudes are. We got all of those dudes played hundreds of snaps last year. And every time they were on the field, I don't ever remember going, oh, shit, they've got Alex January on the field. Watch out. No, I'm like, okay, well, I'm completely comfortable with that entire group. So the edge guys, I want to see a little – and they may be more talented than the defensive tackle group. Like as much as I think that tackle group is really, really talented, the edge group might be better, but they haven't proven to be as good of players as the first 4 guys, I think, on the defensive tackle group.
All right, let's do linebackers then.
This one's a tricky one, I think, to talk about.
This is tough. And I'm going to tell you, in my grade, I gave Muschamp the benefit of the doubt as far as improving guys who I thought were talented, because I gave it a 3. So, and I will tell you that Muschamp factored into my grade. I know you're at a 5 on that.
Which is, again, just to say, more than anything else,
yes,
I'm watching you guys kind of a thing.
Yes, but I will concede. There's a couple of things I will say. I do like the transfer portal pickups. I do like the guys, some of the guys that they have coming back. Like a Ty Anthony Smith, right? I'm very high on him. I'm sure you are as well.
Can I ask you a Ty Anthony Smith question?
Ooh.
Because I don't know that we're on the same spot here. And he is a little bit of why I'm at a 5. You would agree that he's an important piece of this defense this year, right?
Very, very much so.
So we're on the same page there. When you see Ty Anthony Smith play, what is it that you think of him?
At this moment, I don't think Anthony Hill. Okay. I think very good. But I don't necessarily think great at this moment. But I think good. I think good to potentially I would say this. Good, very good moments. Won't say great. So what is that number? A 6-ish, 6.5, maybe 7-ish on a 10 scale as far as like how good I think the person is. Where if I would put Anthony Hill at a 9 or 9.5 or a 10, something like that, he's not to that level at this moment.
I think you and I are almost in lockstep, except for one. Like, there's one area, And then even then, the numbers, I mean, these are splitting hairs on some level. And I want to at least acknowledge that we're pulling weeds in a weed farm.
Look, you and I have argued that the Zach Shackelford argument might be one of the more classic ones versus we literally argued for a year and a half or two about the definition of good. And that might be better. That might be better than the Caden Stearns, Brennan was Brennan Eagles? Was that his name?
Yes, Brennan Eagles, Caden Stearns. God,
and that was another one. But I think the Zach Shackelford one might be the pettiest arguments you and I ever had. Go ahead.
I mean, and that's saying something because we can be petty. By the way, so I have this new philosophy. I heard this thing in a movie, just real quick, just to follow up on what you said. And I heard someone in a movie say, when given the choice in a conversation with somebody else to be kind or to be right, choose kindness. And I like that. But it's harder to do because I am Mr. I want to be right all the time.
Ooh.
So yesterday, my wife was upset that I bought her this shot. It's like a weight loss shot, right? But it's an expensive kind from Dr. Camp at the Orange Bloods thing. She was like, it's giving her side effects that she didn't want, but the shot cost like $100. So she was like, I'm not going to use it again, right? So I looked at it and I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to just waste that money. When I took my shots this week, I just gave myself a little bit, like a micro dose of an increase. Didn't even use the full shot, just a little bit. Like I was going to spread it out over the course of the next few weeks. No big deal. So she goes in there and she's like, what happened to the shot? And I was like, well, you said you weren't going to use it. So I took it. She then wrote me back this text message that explained to me that the shot was like if I had taken the last Reese's Buttercup out of the refrigerator and eaten her Reese's Buttercup when it was the last Reese's Buttercup in the fridge. And I was like, well, I wanted to type back. No, it would be like that if there weren't 12 other Reese's Buttercups also still in the fridge. And each of those Reese's Buttercups didn't cost $100. And you hadn't just told me you were never going to eat Reese's Buttercups ever again. Am I supposed to just let the Reese's Buttercups sit in a refrigerator forever into eternity? You're not going to eat it, but nobody else should ever have it either, even though I paid the $100 for the Reese's Buttercup.
Yeah.
I was about to hit send. You know what I did instead?
What'd you say?
I hit a thumbs up button. And I let it go.
I hate thumbs up, though. I feel like thumbs up is so dismissive.
I conceded the point. I am the guy who argues everything. I feel like thumbs up is the new version of a middle finger. She gave me a heart.
Oh, how did she hearted your thumbs up? So you sent her.
She replied back like multiple hearts. She took it as a victory. And now on the show, I get to like rant a little bit. And now at least, I feel better. Sorry.
By the way, somebody who's really into these things sent me something that said there's something out there called a Mercury retrograde that is out here in the stars or whatever until 320. It's like a star thing. And basically, this is a period where there's going to be a lot of confusion in communication, technology, all kinds of stuff. So if you're into that like stuff, because I've been beefing with my girl for like a week. And so I told you I hate the world right now. But someone's like, there's a Mercury retrograde. And apparently this means everybody's miscommunicating. Just so you know. It may not be a thing. It's there's something in the stars at the moment.
Well, I'm just trying to do like a better job of like not fighting. Those aren't even the good fights. Like that would have continued all day had I let it. And instead, I was like, I don't want to argue about this. And I just hit the thumb. I did it. So all I'm saying is I think I'll do a better job this year on the Zach Shackelford front. I might just let you win. Just because I I don't have it in me to fight all the time anymore about the Zach Shacklefords of the world over little things like what is the subjective meaning of good.
Okay, so let's run through the rest of these guys.
Well, hold on. So linebacker, right? Is it
Linebacker? Yeah. Because we got linebacker, cornerback, safety, and special teams to get through.
The other ones, I think look, at the end of the day, they got 7 guys on campus. One of them will be limited, I think, in the spring, and Ty Anthony Smith. And for me, Ty Anthony Smith hasn't proven that he's consistently good. He has everything else you said is right. Flashes are very good. I think he can be very good. I don't think he's ever going to be great, but I think he could be really very good. Who knows? Maybe he can be great. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think he's good yet. I think he's mid with flashes.
Okay.
So I don't know what I think of Ty Anthony Smith completely. They bring in Marcus Boswell as a transfer. He played a freshman at a small school a year ago. Justin Cryer comes in as a transfer. Man, when Alex and Cody are asking his teammates what they think is the most impressive thing about Justin Cryer as a player, and they're like, man, he practices hard. That to me is like, hey, Anwar, my wife and I are broken up. Does your old lady, does she have any friends? And you go, oh, I know the perfect person for you. She is so nice. That's what that felt like to me. So I was like, oh, I know they said a bunch of complimentary things, but all I heard was he's a nice girl. And which I love nice girls. Trust me, I don't meet enough there ain't enough nice people in the world, but you know what I'm saying, people. Yeah. You want a little sizzle in the description of, so tell me about that person. So I don't know. Rasheem Biles is a baller. I don't know about everybody else. I don't know how I feel about. I thought we just learned our lesson with these true freshmen. Careful with that whole expecting them to come in and start thing or be starting level good. And people talk about Tyler Atkinson just because Texas paid him a bunch of money. Like, didn't you watch the film, guy? He loves him. It's like, well, no, we all love him. The ability to come in as a teenager and seamlessly jump in and play like a grown man happens less than it does more. And so I am a little guarded in what my expectations of true freshman Tyler Atkinson are supposed to be. But I don't even know if Marcus Boswell is any good. I don't know how good Ty Anthony Smith is. I don't really know if Justin Cryer is any good. I'm at a 5. Yeah.
Okay. All right. This one we can kind of breeze through, Catch. When it comes to cornerback, I was at a 1, you're at a 2. I mean, I think we both feel really good about the cornerback position and that position being loaded. The interesting one, and this did the last 2, safety. I was not concerned. This might have been your highest concern level out of all the positions I think that we did. And I can't, and I have to look back at your offense because your offensive
line.
Yeah, offensive line, you were at a 10. So this might be your second highest one, which is the safety position. You're at a 6. And you said your comment was it's Jelani McDonald and a bunch of guys that weren't good enough, and we're being completely honest. Even if Xavier Filsaime makes a jump, the depth without a healthy Jonah Williams, obviously playing baseball, isn't as good as cornerback. So you're not sold on the majority of guys at this safety position.
No, man. I think some of these dudes are Jags. And that's why, look, Derek Williams entered the portal for a reason. Because he wasn't playing. Why wasn't he playing? Because they don't think he's any good. Now, look, you lose Michael Taft. And we saw a year ago that when Taft and McDonald weren't on the field, the defense dropped off significantly. And it started in the game where the defense started to go sideways. You go into that Mississippi State game. By the end of that game, I don't even remember who in the hell was on the back end of the defense. Shocker, they gave up a bunch of points. Like they weren't good enough to not have those 2 guys. So the loss of Taft to me is notable. Xavier Filsaime is, I don't know, he's just a guy. He's got 5-star talent. He's a guy that can play in the NFL, but he hasn't been good yet. And he wasn't good last year. He just wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Williams is back. He's a junior. He's experienced. He's another year off of a major injury. So we should maybe see a marginally better Derek Williams just being more comfortable in his body, but he wasn't good enough last year. Jordan Johnson-Rebel comes into his junior season. Just a guy. The guy behind them that is supposed to elevate this entire thing is Jonah Williams. And Jonah Williams, I don't know what he is. I don't know. They are literally telling him, Jonah, don't slide head first in baseball right now. Huh? What? Like, he's going to have to play shoulder first in a few months. So I'm super concerned about Jonah Williams on the football field. And then there's Zealous Hicks. There's John Cunningham. There's Teray Davis. There's Yaheem Riley. These guys have a chance to be good players in time. They're teenagers, though. Mm-hmm. I look at their pile of grown men, and I think Jelani McDonald is an all-SEC player. And I think Jordan Johnson-Rebel, Xavier Filsaime, and Derek Williams are kind of mid until they show me otherwise. And then you add in the guy that a Jonah Williams, Jelani McDonald safety pairing kind of makes, I feel like a kid, I feel like a 20-something-year-old looking at a Maxim magazine if you're telling me them two dudes are playing safety and 100% and it's coming on. That is potentially the best safety pairing that Texas will have had in years and years and years. But I don't know if Jelani McDonald's healthy. I don't know if Jonah Williams is – I don't know how healthy he's going to be. And then I don't know how good the other starter is if he ain't going to be it. And I think the depth behind whoever the starter is, presumably Filsaime, he's pretty mid at this point. So, yeah, no, that position is not as good from top to bottom. It has 3 5-star level players, prospects in that group. Jelani McDonald, home run. Xavier Filsaime, jury's still out. Jonah Williams, shoulder shrug, don't know what to do. And they hit on 2 of those guys, everything's different, but they've only hit on 1. And until some of that, the dynamics change, I'm pretty worried.
Okay. I mean, those are beyond fair points. I have zero issues with you saying, hey, there's more guys that need to step up in that room, and I'm good with that, right?
We're talking about winning a national championship. Like, that has to always be – all of these comments are, what is this team trying to accomplish? If you tell me this team's just trying to go 10-2 next year, maybe make the playoffs, maybe win a game, I don't know. My safety concerns are a 4 or 5. But if you're telling me that the bar is you win the last game of the season and it's not the Citrus Bowl, then I have a really high standard and I have to ask myself, is this what Ohio State's trying to win with at safety? Is this what Georgia is trying to win with at safety? And I don't think this group as it stands, I don't think you could give an affirmative on that. I would, sight unseen, I would take those other schools' group. And I love Jelani McDonald. I think it speaks to my concern about Jonah Williams and how unimpressed I've been so far with these other guys, while acknowledging they have talent, a lot of them. I think Filsaime's got a chance to be an NFL football player, and Derek Williams does too, but they've yet to play at a level. Like, I don't think Derek Williams is draftable, and I don't know that Xavier Filsaime's done enough yet that if he were to go pro today, he's a late round pick at best. So that's the level they're trying to get above. They're trying to get above, well, I wouldn't be drafted if I was. The NFL had their chances to get their hands on me. Yeah, I'd be getting a $10,000 signing bonus and like a maybe by the end of August.
Fair enough. All right, you want to knock out the last one?
This one's interesting because I don't know how the special teams.
Can I say something? Can I take the floor?
Yes.
I want to say something that
I'm on pins and needles because I think I know where you're going, but
yeah, you probably do because you know me well enough. Like we talked this week, and with your voice, you called, and I was like, "Hey, what's wrong?" Like because I know you, I was like, "Hey, what's wrong?" I can just tell in your voice. I was like, "Something's wrong." right? And something was, right? And so you know me very well too. And I'm going to say something that that's going to piss off one guy, and his friend, if he communicates it to him, his friend is going to be like, man, F Anwar. But secretly, he might say, I appreciate the little jab that you gave my friend. But he won't say it in his face. Jeff Banks, and it's going to piss people off. Jeff Banks has been underperforming as a special teams coordinator over the last couple of years. And if Jeff Banks isn't boys with Sark, he probably gets shown the door the same way that Pete K got shown the door. Special teams last year was a problem all year long. Outside of 2 Ryan Niblett returns, there's a boneheaded penalty damn near every single, at least once or twice a game. And you're like, you guys haven't fixed that yet? He has not been able to find a consistent kicker over the last couple of years. This is the same guy who went into high school ranks to get a kicker and a punter, and both of those guys sucked. Okay. And now you're telling me that guy goes out and he gets a kicker in the transfer portal, Gianni Septic, who was 7 of 15 catch of kicks between 40 and 49 yards throughout in 3 college seasons. For 50 or more, he's 5 of 9. So when it comes to 40 to 49 yards, dude's about 50%. When it comes to 50, I mean, flip a coin. You might get lucky, you may not. And so now I'm like, Sark as a play caller has got to rely on this kicker. He's got a special teams coordinator who is underperformed over the last couple of years. And I am at a 7 because until Jeff Banks steps up at that position and can do something more than be Sark's friend, I think this unit is underperforming at high levels, way more than Pete K ever underperformed. And that might make Jeff Banks hate the shit out of me. And Sark, if Jeff goes into the office like, this a-hole said this, he's going to be like, damn, Anwar is an a-hole. But he's going to think, Anwar, I do appreciate you saying that, though.
All right, look.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, I don't want to. I'm not going to. What I'm going to say is, I did not really include the Jeff Banks portion of this into my equation. I was merely looking at this from a talent kind of standpoint. And here's how I kind of viewed it, okay? They'll go into the season in the return game feeling like they're as good as anybody in terms of having Ryan Niblett back. They'll feel like that's a weapon that we have that most teams won't have. So I'll give them a 10 in the return game with Niblett coming back. I think the deep snapper is exactly what you want. Like, he's been flawless as a smaller level player. He makes a move up, but from the Deep Snap Academy, it sounds like they went and found a specialist that'll do a perfectly reasonable job. And I doubt today will be the only show we ever mention this guy's name on it. If for some reason that's not the case and it happens in October, apologies in advance. The punter that they got, solid as a rock. He's not great. He's not as good as the guy they got last year, but he's a rough facsimile of that. And so they'll be more than capable in the punt game. Even if they won't be elite, they won't be terrible. They'll be mid. So snaps are good. The return game's great. The punt's pretty good. Their kicking game is meh. And I don't know. I'm shocked that they took the cat that they did. The Chiamento guy.
Mm-hmm.
Or excuse me, the Gianni Spedic guy.
Yeah.
Because you know what I think they did? I think they felt like we got so much shit to do. We can't be wasting our time worrying about a kicker. And they just took the first. I had a buddy of mine who married the first woman he met after he got divorced. And I was like, you don't even want to take some sample tests? Like, if you've been eating the same kind of cake for 20 years and you're gonna just never eat cake again after you take one bite of one new cake? So I felt like they just took that guy because they could scratch that off their list. And then in the days that followed, the amount of better kickers that entered the portal blew my mind. The freshman that was at Arkansas, who's from the Woodlands, who's incredible.
Yeah.
He entered the portal the next day and transferred to LSU, if I'm not mistaken. That solves the problem for the next 3 years. And so I'm not pushing back against you at all. I'm merely explaining how I came to the number that I did, but we viewed the entire project of. I think it would have looked different if we'd gone position by position, and then it could have been like deep snapper 1, punter 3, kicker 6, special teams coach 9, 10. And then if you wanted to mash all those up together, then maybe that's, I don't know. Like, but there's not 1% of me that's like, no, that part was wrong. Remember how I quibbled with you on Ty Anthony Smith and was like,
yeah,
you said like 9 things that were right, but let me tell you about the one I disagreed with. I don't have that with special teams. We are in unison. I just viewed it from a slightly different prism.
Yeah, and I just think that, of all those things, I can't ignore the penalties we saw within that unit every single week last season. Just, it was boneheaded penalties. No. I just think, you know what it is, Catch, and this is the last thing I'll say on it. I think if you're taking care of your guy, your boy, whatever, that person owes it to you to be like, yo, man, I got you. Like, I got you, man. Like, I got you. Don't worry. You ain't got to worry about me. If anybody who's got you, I got you. And I just feel like, Jeff, if you're going to be Sark's boy, then you got to be like, dude, I got you. And he can't be the guy that's got to cover up for you. You got to be the guy that's like steps up for your guy and be like, man, this unit should be one of the best in the conference. And we shouldn't have to every single year say, well, I don't know what's going on with the kicker. They're going to get a punter. Why is there penalties here? All that. It shouldn't be Ryan Niblett scrambling with his head cut off. And now all of a sudden you got 2 returns. You're like, I did my job. No, you got to do better than that. That's all.
I think Banks should be coaching for his job this year. And look, maybe they all would say that they are, but they all aren't. They all haven't been. The rules do not apply. The rules that apply to Pete Kwiatkowski do not apply to some of the other staff members on this Texas coaching staff. And that's cool. Sark can run the program any way he wants to. We're describing a national championship level team that he's built. There are some elements that could be better, but like, it's not a criticism 30,000 feet up of the job that Sark is doing. We're in the weeds on this one. Yeah. Even if you just looked at tight ends, Banks has developed 2 guys that Herman left him in Jatavian Sanders and Gunnar Helm, so he gets credit for that. But we're going into year 6. And at this point, I can tell you more about his pets than I can tell you about guys that he's recruited in the last 6 years at tight end. I mean, there's not one. Just like a couple of positions on this team. Tom Herman left it stacked. And nobody's benefited from that more than Banks, who was able to go through his first 4 years on the job as the tight ends coach, running out players that he didn't bring into the program. Now, Nick Townsend's a big deal. Like, if Nick Townsend doesn't come good, because I got people who are telling me Texas fans they lost their goddamn minds with Nick Townsend. That dude caught one pass last year for 2 passes for 7 yards.
Yeah.
A ton of upside. He's fast, but he's not good yet.
Yeah.
And Arch doesn't even like to throw to the tight end. So I don't know what we think Nick Townsend's going to do if he's got Cam Coleman and Ryan Wingo and running. Like, I don't know that the tight end position is getting a ton of balls this year, but like at some point he has to do better. And I think it has to do it this year, because I think if you ask most Texas fans what they think about Jeff Banks, they'll tell a monkey joke. And you know what? 6 seasons in, that shouldn't be – that's a funny story. It's still funny, but that shouldn't be – at this point, he's supposed to be one of the best recruiters on the staff. Where are his tight ends? I feel like I'm oh my God, I can't remember his name. I'm what's his name in season 1 of The Wire? Where's Wallace? Where's Wallace, String? Where's Wallace? I feel like I'm doing that at the tight end position. Where are the tight ends? You're the best recruiter on the staff, and your position ain't got no dudes? Ever. Who's the dude? So now I have had my piece. Now I'm hating it. Well,
listen, if you guys want to see the offensive side of this, go back and check it out. The offensive side, I feel like we ended on a pretty high note on the offensive side. I got into the weeds on the defensive side, but that's
I think this defense is going to be fantastic.
Yes, I think I think so too. Think highly of Muschamp. I think highly of the players, and I'm excited. I'm excited for spring football. It looks like Catch we'll be out there on Monday morning, so I don't think I'll be on the Overreaction Monday show on Monday. It looks like you're gonna have to hold that down. But wait, what did Michelle say?
She said she took her gummy last night for the first time to sleep. How did you sleep, girl? This
overreaction monkeys make me think maybe I'm still high. What day is it? Well, first of all, if you took your first time, you probably should have done half. I don't know how many milligrams she did, because depending on the milligrams, she still might be feeling it, dude. Like you know. So next,
but I think she's saying that we're making her feel high.
Oh, well, that's good.
And I think what she's saying is, I took a gummy last night and don't feel as high as I feel right now while watching an Overreaction Monday show on Friday. And you know what?
That part, yes. Yeah, well, it's Overreaction Monday on a Friday. There's
like, wait, what's happening? Why is Catch on the show? Why does it say Monday? Why are we talking monkeys? Like, no, it's fair. No, you know what?
There you go, Michelle. And I bet you slept good last night, though, because that's why I take it for that. And man, sleep like a freaking baby. And I will take some later today. So, all right, Catch, you want to close us out?
Guys, it has been the Overreaction Monday show. Like, comment, subscribe to the page. Hey, give us your numbers in the comment section. Are Onward and I just bat, you know what, crazy? I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. We told you we argued an entire year about Zach Shackelford. So leave your ratings for whatever positions you want to. Some of them, none of them, special teams only, whatever your little heart desires. I'll go through trolling the comment section today personally. I'm curious what you guys think. For now, hit some buttons, thumbs up and likes and stuff. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. We're creeping up on 2:30, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of cool. Y'all have a great weekend. I'll see you in a couple of hours. Onward and I will see you on Monday. Wait, did we just say
you'll be here? I got that. Looks like practice availability is at 9 a.m. on Monday.
They check.
Yeah.
For Onward Richardson and myself, you guys have a wonderful weekend, wonderful Friday. Go take some gummies. Go to rogueshop.com. Michelle, you better use that promo code, or I am going to have Richard just send you some stuff just out of principle. You shouldn't be taking lesser stuff when Road Shop is the gift that can keep on giving, along with the promo code Orange Bloods that keeps on giving. You guys have a great one.